How's it going, guys? Bring Your Platoon here, and welcome back to another great set of games in World of Tanks Xbox One Edition. Today I will be playing in the Tier 9 American Heavy Tank, the M103, and we're going to have 3 games set up for you, all doing great things in this tank. Nothing groundbreaking, but they're all going to be pretty damn good games. So let's go down the armor model of this thing. In the turret, it's not bad. I'm going to make it sound absolutely horse shit, but it's not that terrible, but there is a lot of weak spots to the turret, namely right above the mantlet before it even gets to the turret roof, which we'll get into a little bit later here. You can pen it for 205 millimeters of pen, which is very sad. It looks like it's very angled and you shouldn't be able to hit it, but you can. And then there's the turret ring of this thing, which is only 150 to 160 millimeters of effective armor, and the roof, the turret roof, is only 38.1 millimeters thick, so your own gun can overmatch it, but anything lower cannot. Needless to say, guns that are higher in caliber can also do the same thing, and even if they don't hit your roof, they can hit your kind of prevalent. Okay, if you're using all your 8 degrees of gun depression in this thing, you will have done your job to prevent the enemies from being able to shoot at the hatch. But if you're not using all your gun depression, then just be aware that your turret, well, I think it's fair to say the whole turret is a weak spot. But definitely not like in the real front of it, because from the left and the right of the mantlet, it's 350 plus millimeters of effective armor. The mantlet itself does have a few weak spots, but not anything to worry about. Like, its weakest spot is right where the gun is mounted, and that's 254 millimeters, and it's not even a millimeter big. Maybe 2 millimeters, like on tanks.gg of the default 3D model. So don't worry about that, but like in the middle of the mantlet, from to the left and the right of the gun, is almost 300 millimeters. So don't even worry about that. Not even a weak spot. If you face hug in this thing, people will pen your upper plate or just aim at your turret ring and pen you every single time. Especially if they're using premium ammunition. Lower plate is very good. I don't know what it is about this thing that makes it so good, but I happen to like angle my tank downwards a little bit. No, don't angle it downwards. That just leaves your upper plate more of a weakness. But people bounce off the lower plate of this thing like it's cool. And I don't know if it's just because they're bad or not aiming correctly or whatever the situation may be, but the lower plate mixed with the upper plate angle is very decent indeed. But it's an American tank. All the armor is focused in the front. You want to limit your engagements to being nothing but in front of you, and as soon as you turn your turret, it becomes a giant, soft, squishy, spongy thing that can be penned with anything. So that's not great. Even 2 tiers below you. So yeah, sad things. But obviously, with the roof of the turret being the way it is, you don't want to get hit by arty either, because it will it will fuck you over. Let's go into the gun stats and everything else. 120 millimeter gun, 258 pen for the AP rounds, 340 millimeters of pen for the premium heat rounds, and then 60 millimeters of pen for the high explosive rounds, dealing 515 on average alpha damage instead of the standard AP and APCR rounds for 400 damage. Dispersion at 100 meters, it's giving me 2 values. One is 0.37 and the other is 3.35. I don't know which one console has, but it's a good gun overall. 2.3 aim time with vertical stabilizers, gun rammer, and vents. I get the... I think I have Brothers in Arms on this thing. It shoots every 9.5 seconds, roughly. And if you want to put the consumables on, it'll probably be just over 9 seconds. So that's kind of good, I guess. Top speed is 34 kilometers an hour. My only complaint about this thing is that it is relatively slow, but it's a heavy tank, so naturally that comes with the territory. 12 kilometers an hour reverse speed. Health is 1850. 390 view range. 20% fire chance, so 1 in 5 shots in your engine will set you on fire. 8 degrees of gun depression, I just went over that earlier. 15 degrees of gun elevation. It's got decent everything else. It's an American tank. It's basically a less armored E5 in the turret, but that's about it. Use it as a support tank, not a frontline tank, and you should do fine. If you use all your gun depression, you should be able to hide the hatch that people can pen, but keep in mind that your turret is not invincible, so definitely fall back into cover when you can. And, yeah. I don't go alone, go with your team, and you'll do great things. So that was the first game in this thing. I made some questionable shots there, although I did use the heat to pen the Stritzvon M103 and to deal with the Type 4 Heavy. Don't be afraid to load heat in this thing, just because it does have kind of a limited ammo potential. But in the first game, we managed to get 6,600 damage combined. Or is it 6,500? 6,500 damage combined. Not bad, not bad. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so the next map we're going to be on is Dragon Ridge. This map I have mixed feelings for, because I usually only use like half of the map, if that sounds weird. If I spawn on the bottom spawn, which I do usually, I use 6 to 0. That's all I use. I go down into the valley, maybe I start up top at like, I don't know, F7, shoot down on a few people that I can, and then I either push downwards or that's it. I never push to town because it's just, it's a crapshoot. If you spot for your team and you spawn on the top spawn in ABC, then you can go relatively to the E line and spot people who are crossing in the F7 and F6 line and spot for your team, but a lot of the time your team is not there to help you out in dealing damage, so you end up getting spotted by one light tank, and then you get dicked on by tank destroyers or just people sitting in the back, or even artillery. And yeah, I've only had a few strokes of luck going down the 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and that's when the enemy team had done the same exact thing that my team is doing right now, and a majority of us are just going to use the 6, 7, 8, 9 parts on the map. So, that's my thought on the map. I just don't have a lot of luck going to like the hills and where the town is, so I just don't go there. I don't know if that makes me a bad player, but if I needed to go there, I know exactly where everything is, and where I can hide behind, and spots to go up to where Artie would be in the K and J lines, but I don't know. I just don't go there. It's not a very viable place to go, in my opinion, and that's all I have to say about it. What do we have here? We have a machine. He's going to be looking at another person. I'm going to overmatch his side, even at that angle, by penning his tracks and shooting right into his chassis. I don't even get punished for that shot. I do, however, get rewarded with some decent spotting damage, and I don't think putting optics on this thing would be a good move, just because the gun, and I'm just... Wow! Good job, T30. He didn't last long. I guess that's mostly thanks to my Artie, though. I put a tracking and penning shot into the machine once again, and I do believe our Conqueror finishes him off. Very nice. So now we pretty much have the lay of the land here. All they have is some tank destroyers in the back. Namely, another T-30 who just is not really playing his tank correctly. Oh, well, at least they're platoon, so obviously they know what they're doing, right? No, that's usually never the case. So I feel safe pushing up. We don't have anyone or any enemies at the hill at like E6 and 7, so I feel safe pushing into this guy. A Type 5 Heavy. I have a heat a heat round loaded, so I can go right through his mantlet and turret respectively every time I shoot at him. And this is basically just farming free damage for myself. It's pretty great. I love Type 5 Heavies. I love Type 4 Heavies. I love OHOs. Why? You load premium and you shoot through them like butter. You don't really arguably need premium for the OHO because the upper plate armor is a lie. It's not that armored at all, which I learned just recently. So I've been wasting heat and APCR rounds on tier 8 tank when I encounter him. So that's pretty embarrassing, but it is what it is, and you just gotta learn from your mistakes. So, the more you know, I guess. So type 5 heavy, he's gonna dip into me for what looked like 200 and something damage, 215. Good on him. Didn't do shit. If he loaded a heat round, he could probably have overmatched my turret, or at the very least hit my hatch, or just damaged me a lot better than he managed to with high explosive. I don't know. Not a lot of options with that tank, because it just mostly sucks. It just is big and juicy HP pool, and it's not great. So I load a high explosive, high roll the shit out of him for 560. It was 559, but whatever. I'll give it the extra point for rounding's sake. Waffly 100 goes down, of course, with two other heavies to my right side. Kind of worried about getting dicked on by Artie, but not really, considering that our team is already pushed into their 1-2-3 lines pretty aggressively. And where are the tank destroyers going to be? Oh, and oh look, another... Wait. Okay, they were a different platoon. I thought the T-30s were platooned up with the other tank destroyers, and that would have just been easy as fuck. But these guys are in Stritzvan 103Bs. Pretty funny. And they're camping in the back of the base, because of course they are. Because what else are you supposed to do in your DPM machines other than waste it by just sitting at the back of the base, doing nothing a majority of the game? And you get 2 or 3 shots off. When people come to you, I'm going to overmatch this side with my AP round because it just doesn't have good armor at all when it angles to any side. But that's pretty much the game. This is what I get. I don't believe I come into contact with the Artie, so let's just go ahead. Yeah, he dies. Well, I guess I might as well not skip it because it's going to happen in the next like 15 seconds or so. Or sooner. Yep, he's dead. Got it. Game's over. I netted myself a whopping 6,750 damage combined in a tier 9 heavy tank. And while that's not the best score, it is certainly, you know, not the worst. Especially in a tank that shoots for 400 alpha every shot every 9.5 seconds. Or at least with the loadout that I have currently. So, the next game is going to be on a map called Northwest, and of course it's going to be an encounter instead of a team destruction or standard battle. I do like team destruction, and I do like encounters on this map, just because people can't really cap out the base unless you have a royally stupid team, and it just, I don't know, it works. I never, for this map, bottom or top spawn, I always go to around where the base is located. I don't know why, but as soon as I push up from that location, I seem to have a lot better games than going from where I spawn in the top spawn or in the bottom spawn. I just don't do... I never have good games when I go to the 1 or 2 lines. I never do. Like, yeah, I get that you can use gun depression, but Artie can dick on you, and they can push into you if your team doesn't support you, and that hill is really a bitch to get up from the other side without giving a lot of your side, or just... I don't know. It doesn't work. And if your base, let's say it's a standard battle, okay? You spawn at the top spawn in like ABC, okay? Okay. Your base, while they can flank around from the bottom spawn where I spawn from, sorry to cut off that T-57 heavy there, if they flank around all the way down the 1 line and then head towards your base at A1 and then go all the way to A9, you can fall back from where from like H9 in roughly a minute and a half to protect the base. And you can do it and use gun depression, and it just, I don't know, it works. This is what works for me. I've been doing it every time I get this game. If I do have to go in like the middle of the map, I usually go through the construction zone where all the piles of rebels are. But there's a lot of shit that you can run into, like beams and stuff like that, and houses that get in the way. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I usually don't go there, so I normally don't have a problem. Oh, I actually didn't damage the T-57 Heavy there? T-57 Heavy there. That was weird. I bounced off, but it looked like my number for damage popped up. But, yeah, strange. Okay, so I bounced a shell from both the T-57 Heavy and the E-100 there off my upper, I would assume, plate. And he's shooting standard ammunition, and I put a free shot into his... Like, once again, I bounced even more damage. Put another track penning shot into his right track and damage him. And the T-57 behind me is reloading, so I, of course, have to put another shot in to keep him permatrack there. And this is free damage. I'm loving it. Like, T-57 Heavy keeps getting hit. It's a shame, but it is what it is. I block another shot for the T-57 Heavy behind me, and then he gets tracked, and I think he dies here. Oh, okay, our T-57 kills him, and then there, yet another E-100 ends my allied T-57 Heavy's life, and this E-100, I'm going to try and go for the track. I biff one into the side of the ground there, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm going to load heat because I'm thinking he's going to just rush me, and I have allies supporting me behind me that have yet to start helping, so I just start to back up. Already dicks on him after I pen through his turret with my 340 heat round, and I'm just going to keep doing that over and over again. He's trying to shoot into my mantlet, it looks like, or into my turret ring, or into my upper plate by using his gun depression to shoot down on me, but usually, I get exceedingly lucky and block the shot with my gun, and it just gets absorbed instead of damaging me. I took a chance there into finishing off the E-100 and having the FV-215B. This was a stupid play. Should not have done this. Very easy shot for the FV-215B to put a shot into my turret, even with standard rounds, even with HESH rounds, actually. So, definitely don't do that. I have a damaged gun. I don't feel the need to fix it quite yet. Just want to save on credits if I can. And the game's almost over, so I don't believe I fix it anyway. There's no reason for me to fix it. Yeah, okay. So I saved myself 20,000 credits, or silver, whatever you want to call it. And I still net myself a decent game of 5,700 damage combined there. Around there. That's the gist of it. But, yeah, a phenomenal outcome. I didn't get an ace tanker medal there, but it's fine. I really like this tank. I had a lot of trouble with it when it was in its unbuffed state, which was literal years ago, but now it's really good. I'm going to 3-mark this thing just like I did the T-110E5 and the T-32, as well as the T-29, just so I can kind of complete the set and work my way down from there. Then I get to 3-mark the M6, and then the T1 Heavy. So that'll be fun, I'm sure. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Well, gameplays, plural. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. And just a fun fact, the game that I just had there brought my mark up like 1.5%. So that was pretty awesome. But anyway, catch you next time.